Okay, welcome to today's show. I got a special guest. He just made Forbes 30 under 30. You were about to be Forbes 30 under 31.
Yeah, I know. Just made it.
Flew all the way out to the UK. But no, you live out here now?
I live in New York.
You live in New York?
Yeah.
So let's just talk. You got an interesting story. So he was a monk. You went from monk to Forbes.
Yeah, literally.
Tell me about the transition about, from going from like not striving after things and seeking things to, obviously, if you're in business, it takes some striving. I heard this quote by Albert Einstein. Somebody found a napkin. He wrote a quote to somebody. It just sold for over $1 million. And it's in German, but it basically says, a quiet and simple life will bring more pleasure than a life where you're seeking success with never-ending striving. Mm-hmm. So what have you learned about that? Like, tell me about the. How'd you end up a monk first?
Okay, let's start there. So I was average kid growing up in London, and when I'm 18, I'm fascinated by CEOs, entrepreneurs that we are today. And then I get a monk who comes and speaks in my business school.
Okay. And where'd you go to business school?
Cass Business School in London.
Okay.
And he captivates me and blows my mind like a speaker I've never heard before. I then find out that he'd given up jobs at Google and Microsoft to be a monk. Okay. So I'm thinking to myself, why is he giving up jobs at Google and Microsoft to be a monk?
Yeah.
Like what's brought that about? I started spending time with him, so I'm interning at banks and consulting firms in my summers, thinking that's what I'm going to do, and then I interned for the rest in India with him as a monk. Huh. So I'm spending a month. So you went to?
Was he in like a full?
He's on full-on robe, saffron robe, shaved head.
Was he Indian?
He was Indian. He was Indian. He went to IIT, which is the MIT of India, and I'm getting fascinated by this person. Then he introduces me to another like 200 monks that are just like him, trained, and they're almost running like a mini startup to save the world.
Okay.
And so they're creating these sustainable villages, which I know you've experienced too, and creating sustainable villages, food distribution programs that are helping millions of kids in India every day. And this seed's kind of planting in my mind of like, what do I want to do when I'm 22, when I finish? Do I want to go off and do something meaningful with my life, or do I want to go off and make loads of money? And there was something in me when he talked about selfless sacrifice that kind of just penetrated deep right there. Okay. And I just felt to myself at that age, I was just like, that motivates me more right now. Giving myself. How old were you then? I was 18 when I met him. Okay. And then for 18 to 22, I did everything under the sun that you would do when you're 18 to 22 anyway. Okay. But in the back of my head, I was like, when I'm 22, I'm going to go off and become a monk.
So you didn't do it right away. You said you went through school.
I did everything.
Boom. Yeah. You partied.
Yeah, I did everything.
And then you're like, you're from the UK. They drink a lot.
Yeah.
What was your drink of choice? Zach wants to know.
I think at the time, it was like a JD and Coke.
JD and Coke to monk. Maybe we should title this show. So I feel like a lot of people want some kind of balance between pure, greed is good, Gordon Gekko, capitalism.
Yeah.
And like, I gotta pay my bills.
Yeah.
But I also want to save the world or try to do my part.
Yeah.
What'd you learn? Let's just give people 3 things you learned. If you had to think of them in order, I'm gonna spring this on you.
Okay.
Not everybody can be a monk. Not everybody's gonna be a billionaire. How do you balance those?
So 3 points on the court.
Yeah.
Number 1.
Yeah, 3 points on the basketball court.
Yeah, we're on the court, so 3 points on the court. Number 1, you touched on it at the start. There's a beautiful verse in the Bhagavad Gita that says that detachment doesn't mean that you own nothing. Okay. Detachment means that nothing owns you.
Okay.
And to me, that's that balance. Okay. That's that balance. It's that that. Like if you're going over the millions and billions, but then that starts owning you.
Right.
We've seen that destroy people.
Right.
You've seen that destruct people.
So it's like the dominant energy.
Exactly.
But how do you think, because it's easy to fool yourself and be like, no, I'm not dominated by money, but like, was there a litmus test? Is there a test you had in the back of your mind that you could know that you are truly detached?
Well, I think there's, we have both. Like one of my favorite quotes, which kind of complicates the whole situation, is from Charles Cooley, where he said that, today I'm not what I think I am. I'm not what you think I am. I am what I think you think I am.
Right.
Right? And we're lost in that perception of ourselves.
Yeah.
So if all my billionaire mates are telling me, no man, you're all right. Like, you've got money, you're good, but you've got to have that reflection. But that's not going to come if you're just surrounded in the echo chamber.
Yeah.
And you talk about this loads, having mentors.
Right.
My thing is that when I come up with an idea, I want to know what the Dalai Lama thinks as much as what the Mark Zuckerberg thinks. Because for me, that polarity is what allows me to not get lost in the echo chamber.
Did you ever get to meet the Dalai Lama?
I have. Yeah. I have.
Really?
Yeah, I have.
So I've never met him, but I've read some of his books.
Yeah. Which are not written by him.
But he seems like a happy, jolly guy.
He's a happy, jolly guy.
Is that how he came off?
Yeah, he's a happy,
what
jolly guy.
What happened to all my balls? The dogs, literally. Can you teach my dog some Zen Buddhism when it comes to the balls? She pops every one of them. The other one just got neutered today. So
no way.
He's not having the best day of his life, unfortunately. But we had to. He's a big German Shepherd.
Yeah.
So maybe we could say number 2 then is don't get caught up. You have to. It's hard to see the perception of yourself that's true. Like
massively.
People love to, like you said, they're either deluded in themselves.
Yeah.
Or they're listening to someone else who's delusional.
Absolutely. And
so what's the third thing then?
The third thing is that I'd probably say it's around fearlessness. So we get trained in this test of, for a month, you are left to be with nothing. You get 2 pieces of clothes, you have no money, no food, and you're left on the streets in a town and a village to survive for a month.
What area were you in?
In India.
What part
of
India?
Like 4 hours south of Mumbai.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's literally like small villages. We're talking about like, there's not like a supermarket on the corner or anything like that. And you have to figure out how to survive without anything to start with.
Huh.
And that builds this incredible fearlessness and resilience. When you've had nothing, you know what to do when you have something.
Right.
And you have this unique perception on, at the beginning, you're just trying to survive. Yeah. Like your whole motive is, how do I live? How do I get? What do I trade? Do I perform? Do I sing? Do I dance? Do I tell jokes? Like, how do I create that trade? And by the end of it, the amazing thing that you want to mature to is that the evolution is you start noticing the people out there who are struggling more than you.
Huh. So you mean you kind of get out of your own.
You kind of get out of your
yourself.
Own head. Yeah, and that's the point.
Is that what happened to you? So tell me a story. So what'd you do? You're dropped off.
Yeah,
they don't literally like drive a car and just boot you out, right?
Not with like blindfolds. And
okay. It's not like a mafia thing.
Yeah, it's not that kind of thing.
So you're out there. I've been to India.
Yeah.
There's a lot of poverty in India. So getting dropped off with nothing in India, it's not like America where you can ask somebody like, yo, do you have $10 I can borrow there? I was in India and I was staying at this hotel and there was beggars all outside.
Yeah, this was
went in and out and there was like people that you could tell they were hungry. Somebody died overnight of starvation outside of our hotel. I remember walking back out, the guy was dead.
You saw him alive and then wow.
Well, you could tell he was kind of sick, but there was hundreds. If you gave money to beggars, like little kids would come up and they'd be like, Mister. They knew you spoke English. And the second you gave them money, like literally like 30 other kids came. So it came to the point where you couldn't always give money because it caused like literally a disaster, like a traffic hazard.
Wow.
So tell us some stories, like take me through this. You're dropped off.
Yeah.
You're to be taught fearlessness. Sounds like my sprinklers are going to come off.
It sounded like snakes to me.
Yeah. So you're dropped off. What do you do? How'd you survive? How long was it?
Oh, a month. So 30 days.
Okay. No money?
Days. No money.
Okay, take us through this.
30 days. So at the start, you're excited, right? Like I'm one of those people who's coming out. I love challenges. I'm thinking this is going to be great. I'm going to figure it out. I can talk to people. I can charm them. I'm going to use all my skills that I've studied and all that kind of stuff. You have a bit of bravado and ego that you can figure it out.
Yeah.
And then very quickly you realize that none of that charm works on the street, no matter what language you can speak. Because again, like you said, people are used to beggars.
Yeah, in India.
There. So the natural resistance is, I don't want to talk to you.
Were you dressed like a monk?
Yeah, I was dressed like a monk.
Did that help you think?
It helps. It definitely helps a little bit. Like that would have been a real challenge. If we weren't dressed as monks, then that would have been like impossible. Like you would definitely die.
Yeah.
And so first thing I start doing is starting to ask people how I can help them.
Okay.
So I just walking up to people and I see an old lady. I'm like, oh, can I help you carry your bags?
Yeah.
Start helping her carry her bags. When I help her to her home to carry her bags, she gives me a rupee.
Huh.
So then I go up to someone else and go, how can I help you today? And someone will be like, oh, well, can you come and help me? I'm just fixing this in my home. So I'll go and help them fix that thing and they'll give me a rupee. And you start realizing that service, or bringing value to someone's life is the way you start.
Which, of course, is the fundamental tenet to business.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. If you're not bringing that impact, if you're not helping grow someone's, whatever it is, to the degree, the depth of which you're going to help that person,
right?
The amount of pain that solution is saving, that's going to lead to what you get. So literally, I just started helping people as much as I could with the smallest activities. And you start valuing these really small things. You just start becoming grateful and obsessive over recognizing how much a small thing can change someone's
Where'd you
day.
sleep?
You literally sleep wherever you can find.
So you were like sleeping on the
floors,
road?
on trees, like.
There's a lot of cobra snakes. When I was in
I
India,
thought there was some in your pit here.
Yeah, you heard the sprinklers going, but there's a lot
snakes.
of cobras in.
Yeah.
So you didn't, no snakes?
No snakes.
You didn't get bit?
Snakes, no
Do you have a
snakes.
snake tattoo?
No, it's a microphone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I thought it was a snake.
No snakes.
I
No
was like,
snakes.
maybe you did get bit. Are you-
No snakes.
Bye, Maya. See ya. So you
But
survived this, obviously.
Yeah, you survive. People come and check in with you every few days. It's not like you're just.
Oh, so
like,
they come check
Yeah,
on
they come
you.
and check in. They make sure you're alive. You can't just get recruited and then
Be dead.
almost be chucked to die.
All right,
But,
we lost
you know,
3 recruits
Yeah,
today.
exactly. It's not like, it's not like a game or anything like that, but you get checked in. But then by the end of it, you start noticing the pain of people around you. And, we were talking about messages, and one of Gandhi's messages was, I was sad that I didn't have any shoes, and then I saw a man with no feet.
Right.
And that's where you get to by the end of it.
Yeah.
That you start thinking that all I'm trying to do is survive, but actually if I can use what I'm getting for service. So by the end of it, you're getting the food and giving it to those who got no leg and got no arm and got blind. All the people, all the suffering that you see.
Yeah.
And that's what it's meant to do to your consciousness, is evolve it from survival for yourself to service.
Yeah.
And that's the evolution of, that's the whole point of the 30 days.
So you made it through the 30 days.
Yeah.
Did you then, was that at the beginning
That
of
was
this time?
very close to the beginning. Not right at the beginning because there's training.
And you stayed
before it.
how many years?
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah,
So
so
did you live
saved-
in like a temple?
Yeah, I lived in an ashram. Yeah, it's called an ashram, which is a monastery or a temple. Yeah.
What did a typical day look like? Were you meditating? Were you?
So you wake up at 4 a.m. every day.
Okay.
So you sleep like 4 to 6 hours a night. You train to condense sleep and expand your life by meditation.
Okay.
And then you wake up and you meditate for 4 to 8 hours a day. Some of it's collective and some of it's personal. And you're spending about, roughly 4 to 8 hours a day.
So tell me
meditating.
about this.
Yeah.
Because meditation is a big thing. There's an app, Headspace.
Yeah, it's a great app.
A lot of people talk about it. I'm not sure everybody's doing it 48 hours a day.
Yeah.
I do it. I actually
That's
had a
nice.
meditation coach. I haven't done it recently, but she was a professor at UCLA, trained and all. And sometimes meditation just makes you feel so good. I've actually found, though, a nap also makes me feel just as good. So how do you focus the mind for 4 to 8 hours? Was the first month like hell on earth? And then eventually it gets easy?
It gets easier over time, like practice with anything. But yes, the first month is like hell. And there are moments now where it's still like hell. So I still do 2 hours a day now. That's my daily practice.
Okay.
But it's not about that. See, I always talk about how when I first started meditation, it didn't make me feel good. It made me feel like a bad person.
Why is that?
Because the analogy that's given in the actual Vedic literatures, which meditation originates from, is that when you're rubbing a mirror with a piece of cloth, the first thing that happens if it has a lot of dust in it is that the dust comes in your face.
Okay.
So when you're trying to cleanse and get closer to your own unique identity, the first thing that happens is you start seeing a lot of stuff that you don't like.
Yeah.
And then you're seeing all of that stuff and you're going, wait a minute, is this me? Like, am I really that envious? Am I really that greedy? Am I really that competitive? Am I really that egotistical? And that's hard.
Yeah.
But that's a starting point. That awareness is a starting point.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people are trained to now think that, when you meditate, you're going to be like serene and wear yoga pants and sit on a mountain and you just see like
guys in
beautiful
yoga pants.
people.
That's not my favorite.
Yeah, and you just see that,
mental
right? The
picture.
marketing. But the actual reality is that when you get that awareness, you now know what you have to deal with.
Do you think most people aren't aware? What percentage of people do you think are operating at near to 100% self-awareness?
Oof, very low.
Very low.
Very low. Like most of us are asleep.
Yeah.
On many levels, not just on a meditation level, but on so many levels.
Do you think that's
So many of us
because of
asleep.
society? Do you think it's because of childhood trauma? And more importantly, do you think it's fixable? Do you see people came in this ashram or wherever you were and they were messed up individuals, either narcissistic or traumatized, PTSD. Did you actually see some transformations through this process?
Massively, but with patience. I think I think everything's fixable, but everyone has its own timeline and everyone's got their own clock.
Yeah.
And you're not going to suddenly speed up that clock for someone who's gone to a really dark place.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I can definitely say is that there is the transformative path, but we've got everything in society that constantly numbing us.
Right.
Right? Like, I mean, I know you talk about this a lot, that, the most successful people in the world choose education over entertainment.
Yeah.
Because entertainment numbs you.
Yeah.
It makes you asleep.
Yeah.
Right? It's not helping you rise your consciousness from within.
Yeah.
So if most of your day is spent numbing your consciousness, then how are you going to awake?
So let's end with this, some practical stuff. Not everybody, you know, some people got kids and family responsibilities.
Absolutely.
What's a couple of practical things somebody can do to try to replicate and get some of the result?
Absolutely. I think number one definitely is finding some space, whether it's 10 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day, just to start with gratitude. I think that's the beginning of this journey.
So what do you mean by that? Is it writing down on a journal, I'm thankful that I'm healthy today. I'm thankful that I live in California.
The more specific your gratitude is, the deeper it is. So the more like it's like, oh, I'm thankful that I breathe, which is just everyone breathes.
Yeah.
The more specific we get about our particular situation.
Yeah.
Like I'm just happy that I was able to walk into work today and have meaningful relationships with the people I work with.
Yeah.
Or I'm just happy today that I'm standing with Tai. Right? That's a real specific gratitude, not that, oh, I'm in LA and it's sunny.
Right.
Which a million people are experiencing.
Yeah, so something very specific.
Very specific.
Only to you. Okay.
Only to you.
That's a good one. What's another? What about a good book?
Yeah, I mean,
you mentioned the Bhagavad Gita. Is that somebody people should read? Not many Americans think of the Bhagavad what?
Well, the amazing thing was that Will Smith was just in India.
Okay.
And he was saying that he's 90% through the Bhagavad Gita.
Okay.
And he was channeling his inner Arjun. Arjun's the main character of the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking when he was sharing that, I was thinking, you know, Will Smith's getting something out of the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
So my thing is, read the Bhagavad Gita, but find someone who understands it to help you through it.
Okay.
Like what you're doing. Like you're coaching people through books. I love books.
Are there like audio books with a coach or something?
Yeah, there's great books with great translations, making it simple with explanations.
It's a little bit. How long ago was the Bhagavad Gita
over 5,000 years in written form. Woo. Yeah, so it's old. It's one of the linguistically and philosophically oldest books on the planet. So
yeah, you probably definitely don't want to just read it in like
and I'm not
Sanskrit, original Sanskrit.
Exactly.
I didn't get much from it.
It takes 13 years to learn the grammar of Sanskrit, so I definitely
Okay, so for a practical tip, each of you take 13 years to learn Sanskrit, then you can read this great book.
But you can read the great book, and I think there's now there's so many resources online. You can find the Audible version. You can find a way to study.
What's a good place? So we talked about something they can do on their own, which is just writing out gratitude. Yeah. My friend's got a gratitude journal company.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. There you go.
He's in London. And number two, you mentioned reading Bhagavad Gita.
I'm a massive fan of Thinking Fast and Slow.
Daniel Kahneman's
book. I'm
a
massive fan of that book. From a recent book, I think it's a great book.
He won a Nobel Prize.
Yeah, the ability to be able to decipher between what he calls mindset 1 and mindset 2 is what the Bhagavad Gita calls mind and intelligence.
Okay.
Being able to decipher between whether you're listening to the voice and the noise of your mind or the voice of your intelligence. I think that's a great starting point. Just being able to differentiate. Because so many of us are misled on a different path by our mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that book. That's a personal favorite of mine of recent times.
Number three, where's a place people can go? Is it a conference? Is it a pick up and move to India? Any place you've seen that's practical, a camp, a meditation seminar?
There's a lot of them. And this is a genuine answer, I personally think social media is the best place to start.
Really? Social media?
Yeah, because you're so glued to it. If you can just start curating your feed to looking at the right stuff, that's the most practical thing you right now.
You like?
So Headspace is a great app, right? It's a great tool to get you started. Use it. Calm's a great app. Get started on it. There's million meditation apps. Find the one that works for you.
Yeah.
It's not that, I don't think there's a one size fits all model.
Yeah.
You may not like the voice on one of them.
Headspace guy got a cool voice. He's got that.
And he pretty comes he's English. Yeah, he's got a great voice. But that's what I mean, that whatever fits for you. So there's a ton of apps on the store. You find the one that works for you.
Yeah.
I can't say it's this one.
Yeah.
Because I know people who've found and bored and evolved and moved on from different apps. Yeah. But that's what I'd say. And social media for me, find the people that are uplifting you just at a basic level. It's not like you got to jump from here to the Bhagavad Gita and live like a monk.
Right.
It's just finding the next step for you.
Yeah.
And I'm big on that. I think everyone's on a different step ladder and no one has to jump steps. You just got to take the next step for you.
I think Zach, you should go live in India for one. Zach?
I'll Skype with India. I don't think I'm going to go.
You're going to Skype with India?
We'll do a retreat to India together.
What if he wore this outfit? Would they see him as like a god? They'd see him as a deity. This man with the red hair.
With the headphones.
With the red hair. It'll be like Indiana Jones.
I love it.
No, Zach, you said you did well in Costa Rica with the Latin ladies because you're tall and red hair.
White,
yeah.
Zach had a great. Zach still reminisces like Napoleon Dynamite, the uncle. Oh, back in my days in Costa Rica, he tells me of beautiful women that used to chase him through the What was the lady?
I was a god.
What was the thing that there was a lady who chased you into an elevator?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
planted a big kiss on me.
Wow.
Just kind of cornered me.
Zach.
He said, I don't mind if I do.
Zach's a Leo. He was like,
That's
"This is
hilarious.
my heaven on earth." India's next for the Adventures of Zach in India. I think it'd be
I
good.
like Indian
Yeah.
food.
Indian food's great. Yeah. Indian food's great. Culture's great.
Yeah.
Indian women
Yeah.
are beautiful.
There you go.
Zach wants to star in a Bollywood.
Oh
flick.
yeah, Bollywood's great. The movie,
Zach,
the movie.
the
we're talking about
Bollywood movies are hilarious.
Yeah,
if you
they're
haven't
hilarious,
seen
yeah.
the
If you wanna
Bollywood
get
version
numbed
of
the most.
Hulk, have you seen the Bollywood version of Hulk? Just Google Bollywood Hulk. It's one of the greatest.
Or tunic.
No, that's that might be Pakistani.
There's a Bollywood version of
Yeah.
Memento as well.
Oh God,
Yeah,
the
no,
Bollywood
that really let
redoes
me
the
down.
Hulk.
I love Memento. It's
They
great
forgot to use an actual really big guy. It's funny to watch the
movie. I need to
Indian
check that
Hulk.
out. I've not seen it.
So as we close, what's the best place for people to reach you? Like, where should they go? Should they go to your? We talked about Instagram.
Yeah,
We talked about
absolutely.
Twitter.
Yeah, so Facebook, Instagram are my biggest places.
Okay.
YouTube I'm on too, Twitter I'm on too. But if you want to see my videos and get in touch with what I'm talking about, which is making wisdom go viral, which is
Okay.
my motto.
Yeah.
Come find me on Facebook, Instagram. It's just my name, Jay Shetty.
That's awesome.
JAYSHETTY.
Jay, thanks for
Ty.
being
I really
here.
appreciate it, man.
No,
Thank you. I
appreciate
genuinely
you.
value meeting you.
No,
I've been a big
pleasure
fan for
was
a
all
long
mine.
time, honestly.